There we go. All right, we should be live. We are here today again. Let's see, July 12th, Wednesday, with Bob Tassone, Port Financial Insurance, and Port Financial and Port Insurance, here to discuss protecting your assets. I love this call that we do on Wednesdays, Bob, because I think it's so important for anybody that's involved in real estate ownership that they understand how to make sure that they are protecting their assets. And you have services for insurance that is not just about property owners insurance. You've got all kinds of insurance that you are able to offer and other financial services. But our focus of most of our conversations recently and probably in the future are going to be about insurance and protecting your assets. So today, love to chat a little bit and have you share some more information about policies that are specifically, I guess, designed for individuals that would own townhomes or condominiums. And there is a distinction about those types of properties compared to something like a single family home. And of course, then you can get into other categories of homes, which might include all kinds of appurtenant structures. So now we're getting into different categories. So if we get into rural properties, we might have 5 acres of land. We might have a number of appurtenant structures like barns and sheds and garages. But now today we're going to talk a little bit more about townhomes. Townhomes, which are attached dwellings. And when we say attached, that means they're attached to other structures that are similar to them side by side. So in a townhome, you own the structure that you're in, and generally you're going to be responsible for maintaining. Usually there's a small yard and you got a roof and siding on that property. You might have a side and a front and a back, but you share a wall with your neighbor. And then comparatively to a condominium, where really you're buying a home in a space and you own the walls inside that house. So talk a little bit about the policies and insurance and how it might be different for somebody depending on what type of property like that they might own.
All right. Well, good morning. I think I'll start with condominium since it's simpler. Okay. So with a condominium, I usually describe it as you own the paint on the walls. Don't really even own the walls. You own the paint on the walls and what's inside. And so if you cover the floors with carpet, you probably own that because you put down carpet, but the subflooring you don't own. So you really just own the space. And what happens is if there's a fire or something like that happens, all the stuff that's inside of your condominium, all the things that you own are not covered by the master condominium policy.
Right.
The condominium has a policy on the structure itself, but your stuff is not covered by that. So most of the time when you have a condominium, there's going to be some type of a condo association, and they're going to require you to have a condominium policy, which is a separate form. It's a HO6 form, which covers things like fire and smoke. And if there's a storm and your router or your TV is struck by lightning, it would cover things like that. It's going to cover the things inside of your house that are damaged, but that are not fixtures, that not attached to that structure. So anyway, most of the things that you own are covered by that condominium policy. And then the condominium policy also has your personal liability coverage, which we can talk about on another day, and things like that. So anyway, condominium policies you would think they would be very, very inexpensive because you're not covering anything but the stuff inside, but still they're usually hundreds of dollars a year.
Okay. And now a lender is going to require certain coverages in their policies. If assuming you get a mortgage and most people do have a mortgage, not everybody have cash transactions, but if there's a mortgage, there's certain standards that those policies have for those lenders, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're purchasing a condominium, usually the lender will want a copy of the master policy declarations, and they'll want the declarations on your condo policy. And they'll want to be named as a named insured if something happens to that condo. And then the other thing that is important is that loss of use. So if there is a fire or something and you can't live in the condo anymore, it pays for you to live somewhere else.
Right. And there are people that there are condominium lifestyle that is so appealing to a lot of folks because you don't want to have to maintain anything. And if you like living in a condo, it's probably because in your lifestyle, you want to have somebody else taking care of most of the maintenance on the property. And in a condo, you don't have to worry about the maintenance of the property. You are maintaining the stuff inside your home. So you got to make sure that, your plumbing is working correctly and your appliances are working correctly and all that kind of stuff. But that's minimal to property ownership. Next step up on the ladder would certainly be townhomes. And a townhome is kind of a step between a condo and a detached or single family home, but it is single family. But it might be a townhome in a long string of homes that are all together, or it might be one of two or three that are in a couple of spaces together. So what kind of coverages would that what kind of differences would that coverage entail?
So the townhouse policy is really the same form as a single family dwelling. It's an HO3, which means when you go about buying a townhouse, you should make sure that all of the systems are functioning and in good working order, because the insurance company is going to want to know that they are in good working order before they insure the house, the townhome. So that means that you should have a good roof on the townhome. The siding should be in good repair, and your plumbing, electrical, and HVAC system should all be good working order, because the homeowner insurance company is going to ask about all of that. So you really have the same responsibilities as you do with a freestanding home.
Yeah.
In a townhome, all the same questions should be asked about. I mean, anything that you would be advising people about to look for when they're buying a house. Townhome is the same thing. It's the same form. The only question is going to be, is it an end unit or is it an interior unit? And that's basically the only question that they're going to ask, other than the regular things that they ask when they insure a regular house.
Okay. Well, this is good points of conversation, Bob, because here in Williamsburg, we do have quite a few townhome communities, and they don't make up probably on a overall picture. If you look at the entire real estate market, townhomes and condominiums make up a smaller segment of the market compared to single family homes, but they are a significant component of the marketplace. And townhomes and condominiums fit separately in that attached dwelling category. So nice to have this little bit of information about insurance and protecting assets for townhomes and condominiums. Nice to have that insight. And I really appreciate, as always, your insights here and your services with Port Financial Services and Port Insurance. You're here in Williamsburg, and your contact information will be right here on this page. So if anybody has questions about insurance, please feel free to reach out to Bob Tassone. Bob and I have known each other for a good long while, and it's great to have these conversations with you, Bob. Here I'm John Polson with the Memory Group Real Estate in downtown Williamsburg. And if anybody out there is watching, Bob yourself, love having you pop in on, whenever you're downtown Williamsburg. It's always great to see familiar faces. So our office is right next to Retro's to the left. And then on the other side of that is Aroma's Coffee House. So stop on in, have something to eat while you're here downtown, and pop in and let's talk real estate.
All right, until next time, John. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bob. Have a great day.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah, bye.